How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to Seattle Kraken Franchise Mode, episode number 24, here at the beginning of year number 6, the 2026-27 regular season. In this episode, you'll be able to tell by the title, I don't know yet, but you definitely do. It'll either be a full simulation of year number 6, or it will be part 1. We'll stop around halfway through or at the deadline, depending on how the team is doing, or maybe we're doing well, but we still have some questions. It might be 2 parts, it might be push all the way through, not sure yet. But we are ready for year number 6. The three-peat begins now, or at least the road to the three-peat. In the last one, we went through the off-season and went through the preseason as well, as we're starting to have to make decisions and strategize towards what kind of team we want to have. We know we have an aging core in our captain, 34, soon 35-year-old Vladimir Tarasenko. We have Jaden Schwartz, who's 34 years of age as well. Vinny Trocheck, 33. He's going to be on his last year most likely. But at the same time, we have a lot of youth. Moss, Roseyan, Mercer, Popov. There's a lot of players coming up. So after these players leave, we have our replacements ready to slot right in. However, until that time comes, they're kind of getting buried in the bottom 6. So we're trying to find a right balance of all that. Meanwhile, we have players who are really showing us that they need to get the opportunities here. Chris Moss, our second-round pick in 2024, scored 6 goals in 5 preseason games. He wasn't supposed to make the team. He's now playing second-line minutes headed into the regular season. Stuff like that. Surprises out of nowhere. On defense, Yurchek, Pulak, Miller, Bear, Kozlov, and Shillington. We're trying to figure out, do we go Shillington or Flurry for that final spot? Goaltending, do we go Wilm backed up by Matt Murray or backed up by Hayden Primo? Again, not making it easy with such good numbers during the preseason. Crazy numbers even. For the fourth line center role, also Dylan Gambrell, 3 goals, 1 assist in 6 games with just over 9 minutes a night of ice time. Ryan Suzuki has the higher potential, is younger, has done more in the past, but only 1 goal and a -4 in 7 games. Yes, he's played 154 NHL games with us and has 60 points. And in the playoffs, 20 points in 45 games with 2 Stanley Cup rings. But is it time to move on from him? That's what a lot of you were saying in the comments. Either way, I don't think we're in a big rush, but we got to start thinking about what we're going to be doing here in year number 6. Starting off in the comments with Ed. Ed saying that keeping players in the minors as we have in the past, / in the bottom 6, will degrade their potential from top 6 to top 9. This could happen with Mercer and Suzuki on that 4th line. In my opinion, Flurry and Gambrell should play the last season with the Kraken here. After that, they can move for prospects. We have a lot of talented youngsters, but I'm afraid they'll stay in the 78 to 80 overall range forever if we don't give them a chance to climb up the roster. Wilm and Marco must be re-signed, no doubt. Thank you very much, Ed. Scott comments that with so many prospects about ready to come up, I think it's time to move on from Suzuki. He's had flashes, but he's never been a consistent performer when given the opportunity. He's taking away opportunities at this point, in my opinion. Jackson's comment about the lineup as a whole, Moss definitely earned that second line call-up, but that +5 with Roseyan, if we swap them between the second and third line, is also very intriguing. Roseyan with a +3 on the third line with the vets is a solid compromise, though. And we're not afraid to make changes after the first 15 games or so if things are not going to plan. X Factors, not too sure on what to say about that, and you know what, no other comments really spoke about X Factors at all, so we won't be adding or removing any moving into our 6th season here. Wilm on a 5 or 6 year deal would be great. If you're getting him around 8 mil, let's get that three-peat. Thank you, Jackson. Jeremy says that the preseason buzz has Moss jerseys flying off the shelf. Count me in on the Suzuki gotta go crowd. Trading for Crosby, who's on the block in Pittsburgh, would be interesting, but I'm not sure the Penguins would ever realistically let him go anywhere. I tend to agree with that. Kevin thinks that a possible move would be moving Suzuki to Columbus for Alex Wennberg, who's on the block over there, as Suzuki's been inconsistent since being in the NHL, often a negative on the line chemistry, not really growing, and instead we could get Wennberg, who could play some penalty kill minutes, better defense, and a cheap contract, probably just as much offense as Suzuki. The only thing with Wennberg, I'll quickly just address this comment because it's a good one, because I love comments that take the situation, the context into account. Wennberg is on the block in Columbus. However, he does have 2 years left on his contract. He's an 83 overall, and he's used to getting like second, third line minutes, scoring 40 points a year. For Columbus to trade him to us, where we'll give him 8 minutes a night, not really ideal for him. Plus, I'd prefer to have someone who only has 1 year left on their deal. So I like where Kevin's going with this. But Suzuki does have a lot of value. If we do move him, which is becoming more and more likely, we could get like a second, third round pick, not just a rental or a guy who's going to play on the fourth line, when instead we could have Dylan Gambrell, who's already in our system. Studelmeyer, who is a brand new assistant GM to the channel, welcome aboard, get in the booth, hot dogs are on us, welcome to the team, has some thoughts here. Ryan Suzuki is taking up ice time that could go to a prospect. The talent pool that you've built up is incredibly deep, so when we find ourselves asking, should we keep a player due to their performance on the ice, the answer should probably be no. Not to mention, keeping him around will only eat into the ever-shrinking cap space. Not shrinking yet, but that day is coming. A good point. As for Shillington and Flurry, when Flurry is on the third line with Kozlov, the chem is a +2 versus 0 with Kozlov and Shillington. Depending on what role Shillington plays on the special teams, which he is an offensive defenseman, he has some special teams minutes. If Flurry works as a clean 1-for-1 swap, or if he can be replaced on the penalty kill or power play after some musical chairs with other D-men, I would say keep Flurry and trade Shillington. Keeping all of this in mind as we move along, Apo says it seems to be the pretty popular opinion. I think it's time to trade Ryan Suzuki. See if you can get something good for him. Great video once again. Thank you very much, Apo. Pat on board as well with the hive mind that Suzuki should be either traded or in the press box. Love the top 9 as it was for the last preseason game. Popov seems like the odd man out potentially. Maybe trading him before he stagnates on the fourth line would be an idea. Now, Popov, we love Popov. Only 3 points in 7 games in the preseason, despite giving him a ton of ice time, which is disappointing. But he's 22. He was a third-round pick, mediumly potential. The 5-star puck skills with 99s over there. 92 defensive awareness, 5-star defense. In the regular season last year, he had 8 points in 24 games, and in the playoffs had 15 points in 22 games. So I think I'm going to chalk a lot of these good and bad performances up to just the preseason jitters or whatever it is. I want to get a little bit larger of a sample size before we decide on Ryan Suzuki. To start the season, I will take him out. Dylan Gambrell was the guy who earned that spot. But Ryan Suzuki, although he is on his way out, I'm not going to force a move just yet because I really want to be sure that Dylan Gambrell's our fourth-line centerman moving forward. Vinny agrees with that, saying I would give a little bit more time between Suzuki and Gambrell to see who gets that fourth-line center role for the season. It's most likely going to be Gambrell who gets the job, but who knows with EA Voodoo? That's exactly what I'm saying, Vinny. You read my mind. Great job, Data, and let's go Kraken. Thank you very much. Last thoughts from I'm Sean Avery over in the Discord server. Making a comment about the AHL here. Talking about Matthew Rempe, he never figured it out. The guy has 87 shot blocking, 96 stick checking, 97 aggressive, 96 body checking, 97 strength. Let's get to him here on the real page. We can see a bit more closely. He's 6'8", 73 overall, listed as a power forward, but with 5-star physical and those big defensive categories. I'm Sean Avery loves the guy. Looks like a prime-time Hal Gill, but playing forward. He's wondering, could we try him on defense to see the chemistry? If it isn't a -5, I would try it. A lot of players who switch their position after the draft, mostly defensive forwards and or offensive defensemen. So you know what? I'll give it a shot. I signed one more defenseman and one more forward. I have to take out Ville Kartinen or Kyle Wood. Kartinen has low top 4 D potential, 69 overall. Maybe we just keep it as an idea if there's an injury, but if we do put him as a defenseman, the chemistry goes to -1. Not horrible at all. So you know what? If there's an injury to, or when there's an injury to a defenseman, instead of going to the 7th defenseman, whoever the depth is, we're going to put Rempe in there. Rempe, and we'll see how he does, just to keep note. The chemistry's horrible in the AHL. I'm signing a new AHL head coach. I already sent out contracts for that. But with all those comments in mind, pretty much the message is, let's wait and see. We know what we want to do. We know what we're ready to do. But let's see what the EA Voodoo has to say. Maybe Gambrell totally falls apart. Maybe Suzuki's back to himself. You never want to put too much stock in the preseason. I hear the coach's chemistry is low. I was going to say no. Okay, welcome to the new AHL coach Ludwig Gustafsson. Mathias Laferriere is down there in the AHL, and so is Riker Evans, former Seattle Kraken, original Seattle Kraken draft pick in the real world even, who's back with his low elite potential to boot. So not bad, not terrible depth selections at all. So I'm going to fix up the AHL lineup with our new coach and some of the new members of the lineup. All right, so this new head coach is horrible, despite having a good team fit. Horrible for the special teams. The 5-on-5 was supposed to be like great pluses. I have zeros everywhere and 1+1 on the first line. So I guess we'll go back to the old coach and we'll just swallow the -3 on that second defensive pair. I don't know, whatever, man. I'm just trying to help these guys grow. I'm doing what I can. Okay, whatever. We'll just do it like this. I did good ice time. I'm giving them some good special teams +1 there. I'm doing what I can for these guys. We're gonna keep it as is and move from there. So aside from the big point that we're talking about of Suzuki, there's also the point of Hayden Flurry. Hayden Flurry versus Oliver Shillington, actually. So going back to the lines now the NHL lines. Oliver Shillington, we've already addressed this a bunch of times, so I don't want to rehash it all, but he does have 2 years left at 3.7, a contract that may be difficult to keep next season. He came in the Vegas deal with Alex Tuck when we sent Chandler Stevenson and some prospects over there. 14 points in 60 games, 8 points in 22 in the playoffs to get his Stanley Cup ring. Just that Hayden Flurry at an 81 overall, we can't keep him in the AHL for another season. We did that to him last year. Already felt bad about it. Scored 35 points and a +26. He's very good. He has his Stanley Cup ring from 2024-25. He's just a good, solid D-man who has good chemistry with Kozlov. So do I keep him as the 7th D? I think that's like the absolute minimum. I cannot rationalize keeping him in the AHL, and one of them will likely move sometime in this episode. So Hayden Fleury is going to come up. Somebody has to go down. That'll be Caden Primo, I suppose, unfortunately. I hope waivers... no, waivers are now in place, eh? That's the problem. It would be a bit risky if we did this. But I'm going to bet on the AI GMs not being smart enough for this. They very rarely claim goaltenders off waivers. I'm going to risk it. So I don't think he's going to get claimed. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. In the real world, I wouldn't do that. But in the EA world here, we'll try it. So Caden Primo is going to go down to the AHL, which makes sense because they didn't want Ben Bishop to have to be burdened with all of the starts down there. So Primo, he's ready to go whenever there's an injury, if ever, to Wilm or Murray. He was amazing in the preseason, but I don't want to just make him sit in the press box forever. Ben Bishop is also on the sidelines ready if need be. Primo will play backed up by Robin Blatter, elite goaltender who was a 6th-round pick. And then we'll also get Hayden Fleury in the NHL. So basically, it's Fleury, Shillington, and Suzuki Gambrel who are swapping back and forth until we make a decision, hopefully around or before the deadline. Before we begin simulating, we can also take care of the Peyton Wilm contract situation, as he is coming off of his entry-level contract and we're ready to sign him up. We could go cheap for 2 years as an RFA, but I think it would make more sense to go longer term. He has been great for us. I think somewhere in the 6-year range, I think makes sense before it jumps into 9 and 10. So 6 years for Wilm brings him to 28 years of age. It'll make sense for him before he gets his big contract that brings him, into the sunset for the rest of his career. 85% is under $7.5 million. So for an elite goaltender, under 7.5 to get him through some of his prime seasons, I'm okay with that. So 6 years at 7.4 for Peyton Wilm. We'll see what he says to that. And we'll go from there. But we're ready to start this season finally. We are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions here in 2026-27. It's our 6th season in the NHL. We're being led by Hart, Ted Lindsay, and Art Ross winner Nathan MacKinnon. Conn Smythe from McKinnon, Conn Smythe to Tarasenko a couple of years ago. We have great leadership, young rookies who are just going off during the preseason. Can't wait to see what this year has in store. Starting off at Rogers Arena against one of our biggest rivals, the Vancouver Canucks. Year number 6, game 1 of 82 starts right now. First period, 0-0. Shots 12-7 in our favor. Second period, there's some scoring. David Jiricek opens up the season on his new contract. A big extension that's paying him $4.5, I believe, for the next 5 years. But Colston comes right back. And then Ryan Pulak, very rarely scoring goals, ties it up. Both of our goals coming from our first defensive pair. Excuse me, not ties it up, puts us ahead 2-1. And then the captain, Vladimir Tarasenko, gives us the 2-goal lead now. 3-1 Kraken until JT Miller cuts that lead to 1. 3-2 game. We lead by 1. Shots 30-19 in our favor halfway through this third and final period to open up this season. The Canucks, they've been playing a lot of hockey against the Kraken as of late. They've been having tough matchups. Will we be able to edge them out once again to start off the year? And yes, we will. The Canucks start the year 0-2, and we commence the 2026-27 season with a dub. Shots 34-22, and we take it 3-2 the final. Jiricek with the goal and the assist. Miller and Podkolzin getting their stars. But our, fourth overall pick in our first draft, coming back, paying off years later as he's starting to come into his own. And this could be a big year for David Jiricek. I'm looking forward to that. let's keep on simulating here. Let's see our first home game. The Stanley Cup banners going up again. Big night. Both the banners are next to each other now here at opening night at Climate Pledge Arena. Let's do it. First period against another big rival, the San Jose Sharks. Opening it up, it's Isaac Roseyan on that third line, opening it up with the first goal of the night. Second period now, no scoring, shots 23-21 in our favor. I'm looking for Chris Moss out here. Where is Moss's first NHL goal going to come? Does he stick on that second line long term with that 5-star shooting? Let's keep it going halfway through this third period. Looking for the big names as well. Can Schwartz keep it up on that third line this year? A bit of a reduced role. Nathan McKinnon out there. Eklund ties the game late with just 3.5 minutes to go. Final minute of play. We're headed to overtime. Shots 35-27 in our favor. 1-1 game. Let's check out some overtime here before we go into a big simulation in the calendar. Overtime here at Climate Pledge Arena. Hurdle versus McKinnon at the draw. I believe last season we had the exact same situation happen to us. And it was Burmistrov for the Sharks who scored and beat us to start off the year. Ethan Bear with a chance. Looking for an offensive year from Ethan Bear as well, as he had a really big offensive explosion a couple years ago, but cooled off a little bit last season. Merkley, Burmistrov, and history repeats itself with a horrible short angle goal. Is that Sebastian Aho? Horrible goal there, as it's the exact same thing as last year. An early overtime goal from Burmistrov. Literally almost, I wonder what the seconds were in last year's game. Almost the exact same time, very early. Let's see this. Close quarters, you can say that again. He's a righty as well, didn't notice that. Peyton Wilm's a righty. Okay, with the A on his jersey, Peyton Wilm gives up a rough one, and we drop this one 2-1, going 1-0-1 to begin the season, but now we get into some nice big calendar simulation, and we'll get a larger sample size after the first, let's say, 15 games or so. Alright, so tough overtime loss there against the Sharks on banner night, but let's start simulating into the month of November now. A good game that we can go see, maybe against the high and mighty Edmonton Oilers in a couple of weeks or so, 2-3 weeks. Let's see where we're at by then. Oh, how about this for a trade? My goodness. Blatter, Sloan, Cartman, and Primo for an expiring Ekman-Larsson, Troy Stetcher, and 2 third-round picks. I will decline, but that also reminds me that I got to put Flurry, Suzuki, and Shillington on the block. So thanks for that. Wild offer, Vancouver. There we go. All right, the block is set. See if anything interesting ever comes our way. Interesting here. Wilm rejects the contract offer, but it seems as though it's just the timing. I'm not interested in extending my contract with the team at the moment. I don't know if I've seen that message before, though if you offer me enough money, I may change my mind. I'm going to wait it out a little bit. I'd rather keep the 85% and just offer it later when the, quote, time is right, as opposed to pay more money now to force an answer. Nice win there against the Leafs 4-2. Peyton Wilm's swollen knee. Okay, so I'll keep him out for a couple of weeks or so. That's not good. But now we'll be seeing a lot of Murray and Primo, I suppose. I don't know if he's injury prone or what, but this is not the first time that Wilm gets injured for somewhat of a lengthy time. Like, it's not a couple of days. It's usually like 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks. So we'll go Murray, the starter, and Primo, the backup, moving forward. And Ben Bishop will get some time down in the AHL. So, all right. Let's hope that Murray can shoulder some of the load here. 4-2 win against the Leafs, then a 3-2 loss against the, was it the Rangers? Or am I just seeing them now? But they want to give us Lindgren, Hronek, Clifton, and a 6th for Darius Piper and Slavkovsky. Not a bad trade. Lindgren would be a great pickup, and Hronek as well. But the last thing we need is more defense. They're offering us 3 defensemen. So I'm going to decline that trade because that's not what we need right now. Yeah, it was the Rangers who beat us 3-2. Bergenheim's back to full health. Little minor injury in the AHL. All right, he's back and ready to go. Columbus Blue Jackets 4-3 win against them in overtime. Then we get shut out 4-0 against the Caps. We're 3-2-1. We beat the Islanders 5-3. Devils who are 2-3-1. Not sure what happened there. Matejchuk and Pronger for Torrey Krug, an expiring contract. Torrey Krug. Again, not a bad deal, but just not what we really need right now. It was a 3-2 shootout win against the Devils and a 2-1 win against the Avalanche. Looking good so far. Coyotes and Blue Jackets, a couple more games here before we can get another slow sim. No, again, we don't need defense. The Coyotes, we beat them in the shootout. Again, these shootout wins, 2-1, low-scoring affairs. Peyton Wilm has returned to the lineup, but he's not quite ready to play. That's the thing. So that's the scary part. Like, now, who do I send down? I don't want to send down Suzuki because he'll get claimed. I don't want to send down Flurry because he'll get claimed. So I got to send down Primo. Like, hopefully the computer won't pull Murray and put Wilm in and then re-aggravate his injury. But we'll check what Primo's numbers were in a moment as well, as Wilm will back up Matt Murray for the next couple games here against the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's a 7-2 win. There we go. Now they want to give us Zach Werenski with 2 years left on his contract for Bladder, Piper, and a second. Again, good trade. Bladder would be, we have other goalie prospects in our system. We have other, Piper wouldn't be the end of the world to give him up, but Zach Werenski taking up $9.5 million, and just, we don't have room. If we moved out one of Bear, Miller, or Pulak, yes, I could think about it, but not right now with moving out prospects to take out in a big name like that. We are 8-2-1. The Oilers are 8-2-1. This is going to be a good one. Wilm is still a playable injury, so Matt Murray will get the start. He's been doing very well. Fantastic. So he'll get another start. Bishop down in the AHL. Yikes, okay. It's okay, big boy. Take some time off. Relax. Primo's back now. Did Primo play any NHL action there? Yes. 2 games, 1-1 with a .910 save percentage, 2.5 goals against. Not too shabby, but now here's a big game against the Oilers. Definitely a big test. Both teams are 8-2-1. Nathan MacKinnon I saw over here. Yeah, 1 goal, 9 assists. Just a pure playmaker so far. We're at home. Both teams 7-2-1 in their last 10. Here we go. First period here, 2-0 early. Matty Beniers and then Vitaly Popov short-handed. That's huge against Olivier Rodrigue. 2 goals on 6 shots, even though we're being outshot 10-6. And then Nathan MacKinnon, his second of the year, makes it 3-0. And the period ends 5-1. MacKinnon adds another on the power play. Ethan Bear scores against his old team. And Jesper Fast breaks this shutout on Matt Murray. But we're up 5-1. Headed into the third period here with a 4-goal lead, being outshot 26-19, but we're up by 4, and I think that'll likely be all she wrote. Let's just call it a night, right? Oh my goodness. Hat trick for Nathan MacKinnon. Matty Beniers scores his second. 7-1 Kraken. This was a very good Edmonton team. We got outshot 33-29, and we beat them 7-1. I don't know if Rodriguez is their starting goalie or what. Hat trick for MacKinnon, 2 goals and an assist for Beniers, and Isaiah Marco gets 4 apples. 7-1 the final. 9-2-1 are your Seattle Kraken now. So now that Peyton Wilm's going to be fully healed, we can start going back to a shared crease, which means I can trust the calendar sim. In a couple of weeks, we face the St. Louis Blues, who are 9-4-1. So let's go see that game before we pause to figure out what kind of moves maybe Shillington out, Flurry in, Gambrel out, stuff like that. Kozlov, fantastic. Bruised hand that keeps him out for a little bit. Here's the big opportunity for Hayden Flurry, actually. We don't even need to wait to pause, as Hayden Flurry will play with Oliver Shillington down on the third pair. I'm not sure if it does anything for chemistry. 0, so that's okay. Let's see what he does with his opportunity now. It was a 5-3 loss and then a 3-2 loss against the Canadiens, then a 5-3 loss against the Red Wings. We're on a 3-game losing streak now, as Niedermaki's out for a month. That swollen knee taking a toll here. Against the Devils, we beat them narrowly in a shootout 3-2. We're 10-5-1 now. And Jiricek pulls his groin. Oh my goodness. So we could call up one of the prospects down in the AHL, as they wouldn't need to go through waivers. So Vince Sloan is probably the first man up. Kyle Wood would be great to call him up. Have we given any NHL experience to Kyle Wood yet in this series? He's 30 years of age. Has he played with Seattle at all? Oh my goodness. It's time for his NHL debut, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Wood, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know how much of an absolute tank this man is with his leadership in the Honolulu Huskies series especially. Kyle Wood, answer your phone, buddy. The NHL is calling. Wow. So Sloan would be great to get up there as well, but I don't want to mess up stuff in the AHL. He has his first line minutes. He has his chemistry. I'd rather just, let's give a shot to Kyle and see if anything magical happens. So funnily enough, Kyle Wood only really fits on the first defensive pair, getting a +2 with Ryan Pulak. Anywhere else, it's negatives and not ideal. So Kyle Wood, first pair NHL minutes at the age of 30. Welcome, my man, making his NHL debut after being drafted by Colorado in the 3rd round of 2014, going to Europe, playing with Jaromir Jagr, coming back, signed by GM Data here in Seattle. Fix up the AHL ones quickly. Actually, I can put Matthew Rempe there now. as that's what we were waiting to do. Actually, no, it's because Riker Evans is here now. So then whenever there's an injury, because now Kyle Wood's been called up, but if there's ever an injury, that's who we're going to call. So hopefully Kyle Wood didn't play yet. I want to see his first NHL game here. Yes, he did not. So 4-3 win against the Lightning. That's great. His NHL debut will be in Carolina against the 7-6-0 Hurricanes. We are 11-5-1. I'd almost give him the captaincy for tonight. What a historic evening this is here. The first game of NHL 22 that gets to see Kyle Wood. He is just a plus-minus animal. Just a phenom out there. He is a phenom. Let's see it. First period, first shot of the night goes in. Fantastic. First period, 3-1. Let's go. Trocheck, Mercer, and Moss. All right. So Niederreiter started off fast, but 3 goals in about 8 minutes there, and it's 3-1 Kraken after 20. Second period now, 4-1. Alex Tuck, very nice. We're being outshot by a couple, 19-17, but we're up by 3 after letting in that early goal. 5-1 now, excuse me. Nathan McKinnon. Ponomarev comes right back, and it's back to a 3-goal lead only. But with less than 10 minutes to go now, 3 goals may be insurmountable for the Hurricanes. Shots are 27-22. Power play for Carolina. We kill it off. Power play for the Kraken. Power play goal McKinnon. Hat trick for Nate the Great. 6-2 the final, being outshot 29-25. The Kraken win 6-2. First star honors. Oh no, it wasn't a hat trick. My apologies. McKinnon 2 goals and an assist. Trocheck a goal and an assist. Wilm with 27 saves, getting 3rd star after that shaky start. No problem. Kyle Wood. Let me see it, Kyle. Just let me see it. Where are you, buddy? Oh my goodness. What a unit. 22 minutes of play. Just a casual 22 minutes in the NHL. No problem. Zeros all over? No problem. I don't see any negatives. That's all I care about. Kyle, what a unit, man. Stakes are on me tonight. What an absolute machine. What a man. Let's keep it rolling here. I would love to keep slow simming until we see Kyle Wood's first goal, but that could be in a very long time, if ever. So I'm not sure when these players are back from injury, but we'll just go back to the calendar and keep on moving towards that game against, was it St. Louis that we wanted? Yes, but now we saw that one against the Hurricanes. Let's just move into December and let whatever the injuries are talk to us. We're in Ottawa against Senators. We shut them out 1-0, and Kozlov is back already. Oh, man. Kyle, we barely knew you, Kyle. It's actually a +3 on that first unit. What? 2 penalty minutes, -1, 23 minutes a night, no problems. -1, that's okay. That's playing all that time. We can only do so much. Come on, what a monster. Great stuff. Kozlov, you're going to get first pair minutes. Yeah, you're going to get first pair because you're going to do exactly what Kyle Wood was doing, since Flurry and Shillington will stay together on the bottom pair. So +3 for that first unit, excuse me. And whenever Yurchek comes back, we'll send Kyle Wood back down. All kinds of trades are coming in here, but I don't want these fringe defensemen. St. Louis Blues, very good team. They shut us out 4-0. Lovely. And now Yurchek is back. So give me a moment to fix up the entire roster again. All right, that is all taken care of. We can continue simulating now with the team almost at full strength. Yurchek just going to wait until that injury goes from playable to fully healed, and then we'll have the lineup back at 100%. The Minnesota Wild are 9-9-2. We're at home. We beat them 6-2, and Yurchek is back. All right, all taken care of. Let's do one game of a 100% healthy lineup, and then we'll take a pause to check out the numbers here. Valimak, the 6-year contract, no thank you. And that game is a 3-2 loss against the Islanders. So now moving into the month of December, we have simulated 22 games. 14-6-2 is our record. A great record, but I'm not totally sold on the numbers. Nathan McKinnon, of course, carrying with 27 points through those 22 games, but a lot of goal totals from other players I'm not super impressed with, like Tarasenko, 4 goals, stuff like that. But let's start running through it here. McKinnon, nothing to say about him, amazing. Isaiah Marco, almost point per game at 21 in 22. Beniers, 20 points in 22 games. Tuck, 15 in 22. Schwartz with 14, doing very well in that third line. Only 2 points on the power play, so he's doing great on the third line. Trocheck's passing to him, 12 points in 22 games. Is Tarasenko on the second line? He's not doing as much as I thought he would. And no power play goals, only 4 goals through 22 games. That would put him on a pace of only 15 goals on the year, which would be, I'm pretty sure, a career low for a full season. Yeah, even lower than his rookie year of 21. So very concerning, I do have to say there. Counter Miller has 10 points. Moss has 6 goals and 9 points in 22 games. Is he in over his head? Maybe. Dawson Mercer has 5 goals and 9 points on that fourth line with a lot of special teams time, I do have to say. Rosean, only 7 points playing full-time third-line minutes, 12.5 minutes a night, only 1 goal on the year. I know he's a playmaker, but still only 7 points as well, -2. Ethan Bear, 6 points +8. Pulak, 5 points. Popov, 5 points, -1. Maybe we swap him in the Rosean, not sure. Yerchek, 5 points +2 in 18 games. Gambrel, 4 points, -5 through 22 games. Maybe we swap him with Suzuki. Shillington, 3 points. Kozlov with a goal and a +1. Hayden Flurry in 7 games had 0 points and was a -1. Goaltending, Wilm is 7-3-2 with a shutout. Murray is 6-2-0 with much better numbers even, so very well done from Matt Murray. Great backup pickup there. So with those numbers in mind, I'm also going to check the special teams. We're currently 3rd in our division, and in the entire NHL, we are also 3rd. Interesting. So the top 3 teams in the league are all from the Pacific Division. So 3rd in the division and NHL. Special teams now, 20.3% on the power play puts us near the top, but the top is unsustainable at 24 or whatever. So 20-some%, not a bad number so far. For penalty kill, we're at 81.6%. Closer to the bottom than the top, I believe. So maybe fixing up the penalty kill would be something for us. Wouldn't really change the offense, but just in general, let's make those slight adjustments to the lineup. Fleury's going to stay out. Suzuki's going to come in. Mercer and Popov will switch, and we'll make some penalty kill adjustments. So we're going to try rolling like that, see what happens. A big change I might want to make here is Schwartz swapping with Moss. It does give that second line the +5. Maybe that's what Tarasenko needs. Moss playing with Trocheck and Popov, 2 fantastic playmakers. Maybe that gets him jump-started as well. I don't like Rosean and Mercer still on that fourth line, but they do get their special teams time. Plus, maybe with Suzuki, a more offensive player compared to Gambrel. Maybe that's necessary because their plus-minus hasn't been horrible. Hasn't been great, but I'll take -2, -3 over the -11, 12 that we've seen in recent years. Let's try that, coupled with the special teams changes. Pretty much I had defensive players, but not Nathan MacKinnon in there. So you know what? Let's just give MacKinnon everything. He'll get penalty kill minutes as well now, and we'll try that being, I don't know, the next, I don't know, let's go to a game like 35 or 40, maybe even the halfway point looking like that. The Flames are 8-13-0 here at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. We're 14-6-2. Let's try and get win number 15 with those alterations made. First period, 2-1. Okay, Severson opens up the scoring on the power play, but then Popov on Samuel Montembeault and even Dawson Mercer. Okay. Second period now. Ooh, 2 goals back-to-back from the Flames. Trouba and Brathwaite. Now 3-2 Flames. We're down by 1, headed into the third, being outshot by 4. We need an early goal here to try and get back into it, and there it is. Thank you very much, Isaiah Marco. Power play opportunity for the Kraken. Nothing coming from it. We have a tie game. Power play once again for Seattle, and this time Jaden Schwartz will capitalize, and Nathan MacKinnon right after even strength from down 3-2 to now up 6-3 as Rosean adds another even strength. The fourth line is clicking. Final power play opportunity for the Flames, and Matty Beniers scores just as the Flames power play expires. 7-3 game from down 3-2 to scoring 5 unanswered in the third period. MacKinnon and Marco, a goal and 2 assists apiece. Andre Palat, former Seattle Kraken, of course. He got 3 assists. An assist on each goal. Good for him against his old team. We love Palat. Nothing but good vibes towards him. Didn't check the personal stats there, but I'm sure Suzuki was involved with those fourth line points being scored as well. Very, very nice game. Hopefully it wasn't just for the slow sim. We can start to emulate that as well in the calendar sim. Let's find a good team a couple of weeks away or so. Actually, let's go get San Jose Rematch. We're about to play them in the second half of this back-to-back here after a win against Calgary, but let's give our team maybe, 2-3 weeks to gel like that, and we'll get a really good example of how the team looks in once that next game comes up, because it's a couple of packed weeks here with 4 games in each of the next 2 weeks. 6-2 win against the Sharks, so they'll be wanting revenge. We lose 3-2 there against the Ducks after we had scored 13 goals in 2 games. 6-2 loss against Edmonton. That's brutal. Flyers beat us 2-1 in the shootout. Ottawa Senators, we're at home against them. They're 11-13-0. They want to give us Murphy and a bunch of crazy package of defenders. We beat them narrowly 4-3. In St. Louis against the Blues, we beat them in a shootout before dropping 3-2 against the Avalanche. Jake Chychrun for Morrison and Hilpert. Whew, how about that? 5 years at 6.7. That's crazy. The more I think about it, with like Werenski and Chikrin being offered to us, maybe we do take a pause at the deadline. Crazy trades coming our way. We just don't have room for these guys. 6-3 win against the Canadians. It would have to be moving out, like I said, injured shoulder now till Christmas for Oliver Shillington. It would have to be, like I said, one of these guys, Miller or Pulak, most likely on their way out if we're going to bring in a big name like that. Oh, but then, even then, we have such great defensive prospects coming up in the system. I don't know if we can afford it. Hayden, Flurry, this might be your last chance here with Kozlov, because I might want to move on to having a 7th D who's a good prospect that we just call up and send up and down, as opposed to just keeping you there all the time. Even Trouba's being offered to us. Man, oh man, the type of D that are on the market right now is wild. So 4-2 loss there against the Penguins, and now we're ready for this game against the Sharks. We're at 19-10-3, looking for win number 20, as the Sharks are 20-10-3. At Climate Pledge Arena, the Sharks just 2 points above us in the division. We have a game in hand. Nathan MacKinnon, 10 points above a point per game. Let's get that 20th win here in front of the home fans. We're 5-4-1 in our last 10. Not super impressive. Let's try and start to turn things around. It's the Christmas season. Let's get some Christmas spirit here in Seattle. First goal going to Oli Mata. 1-0 Sharks after 20. Second period now, 2-2. Yanni Gourde scoring on the power play. Former Kraken in the real world. Never played for us in this universe. Ethan Bear bringing us within 1, and then the captain tying it up 2-2 after 40, being outshot 29-17, but we're all tied up. Power play Kraken early in the third. That's killed off by San Jose 5 minutes in now. We saw last game with Burmistrov how good he is. We passed on him to draft Isaiah Marco. We always have that storyline going. Vinny Trocheck from down 2-0 to now up 3-2 now. Okay, our third line centerman. 3 minutes to go. We're up by 1. Will San Jose push overtime again? No, they will not. What a comeback. And even in the shots, ending just down by 1. From down 2-0 to winning 3-2. Great comeback in front of the home fans. Peyton Wilm locked it down, making 31 saves for first star honors. Trocheck with the game-winning goal. Let's go. Win number 20 on the season for the Kraken, and that is very big when it comes to the Pacific Division, especially as we're now tied with the Sharks, ahead of them on with 1 game in hand, but the Oilers with 2 games in hand are 2 points ahead. So actually, I want to go see this game against the Vegas Golden Knights. It's Christmas Eve. It's a beautiful evening here in Seattle. Another Pacific Division rivalry as well, just to get ourselves again in the Christmas spirit here in the month of March. It's a beautiful night. And we're going to have a nice little pregame ceremony as well. Just brothers in arms, but, you know, when the puck drops, there are no friendships. First period here on Christmas Eve, 1-1. Tyler Toffoli scoring on the power play. Nathan MacKinnon for us. 18-6, the shots were tripling Vegas. Second period now, 2-2. Jonathan Drouin scoring on the power play. Dawson Mercer scoring for us. Shots 31-13. 2-2 game. Of course, we have the rivalry from beating Vegas in the playoffs last year as well on our way to the Stanley Cup. Power play Vegas is killed off. Power play Seattle now, and it's the captain Vladimir Tarasenko putting us ahead 3-2, and then Dawson Mercer with another power play goal, and Jaden Schwartz with a goal. The Blues brothers getting in on this now, and we're up by 3. Nichushkin cutting our lead to 2, almost doubling Vegas's shots, 5-3 with under 5 to go. Shots 42-22, 44-22 now officially doubling. Tarasenko adds the empty netter. How about that? 6-3 the final. Great night here on Christmas Eve. Everybody get home before Santa puts the presents under the tree. 2 goals and assists from the captain. Goal and 2 assists from Schwartz. Blues brothers, first and second star. And Dawson Mercer with a couple of goals. I think they were both on the power play. Fantastic stuff to be seeing now. So that second line seems to be vibing with that play. Oh my. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Peyton Wilm, MCL sprain, out till March 11th. A good solid 3 months that he's going to be out now. Fantastic. Okay. Caden Primo, get on up here. And if we have any issues, we can go to Ben Bishop, but that's horrible. That's not the first time in Peyton Wilm's career that he's been facing a major injury. Like we said, there are a lot of those minor injuries, but even the major injuries here. In his first season, I think 44 games was a full year, but last year 40 years was injury shortened, and this year will once again be injury shortened. He was 13-7-3 with a shutout and 900 save percentage, 2.81 goals against. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, who knows? Matt Murray has been better, 924 save percentage, 2.24 goals against. So Peyton, Hollywood, Wilm will be on the sidelines. Very tough here at the Christmas season to go down difficult to swallow for us. Hopefully Matt Murray is ready to take the mantle here to be our starting goaltender moving forward. Hayden Primo looked okay when he played as well. Ben Bishop will get some more time in the AHL and just some more conditioning and still be ready to be called up to the NHL if there's any more injury or performance issues. That's rough, but now at the age of 40, man, Ben Bishop, that's rough. Another win in the Pacific Division, which is great. We're looking good there. But always hurts to lose your starting goaltender. Maybe now's a good time to sign him to a contract sometime in the next month or so, maybe. But let's move into the month of January, which is when I want to update our scouting reports. So we'll go see the game against the Bruins. Yeah, they're 26-6. That'll be our last game before we take another pause to evaluate. Shillington, he was always available, right? No, he was injured. My apologies. It wasn't just a small thing. Hayden Flurry in 9 games is a -2, so... Man, we've been giving him chances, has not been impressing us in the slightest. Oliver Shillington will continue on that third pair with Alexander Kozlov, still at an 80 overall, but a +5. Goal and assist from the big defensive defenseman, getting his special teams time. Yeah, he plays almost 16 minutes a night, playing some PK time and all that. Back to the calendar simulation now. Brutal 8-5 loss in Matt Murray's debut as the starter. That's rough against the Canucks, 8-5. 5-4 shootout win against Vegas, and then Minnesota we lose 4-3. St. Louis Blues in St. Louis we lose 4-3. So since turning to Matt Murray, we have 3 regulation losses and 1 shootout win. 22-13-3 is our record, going up against a very difficult Boston Bruins squad. Has Hayden Primo played in all of these games? No, it can't be. I think Matt Murray played a little bit, but whatever. I'm going to give Matt Murray the start again. Primo's numbers since coming up have not been impressive at all. So, although Matt Murray's been struggling a little bit, it seems like, maybe faltering with all this pressure on his shoulders now, we're going to give him the Bruins, who are, how much in their last 10? They're 8-0-2 in their last 10. Great. We're 5-5-0. In TD Garden, up against one of the top teams in the NHL, if not the top team. Matt Murray, let's do it. First period, 2-1 Bruins. Mayfield opening up the scoring. Vinny Trocheck coming right back on Ilya Sorokin. And Dennis Malgin getting the second goal on 7 shots for the Bruins. We have 1 on 16. Second period now. Matty Beniers shorthanded. Okay. Almost doubling the Bruins shots, 27-16 through 40. It's a 2-2 game thanks to that big shorthanded goal from Matty Beniers. Haven't been seeing a ton of goal scoring from him. Rasmus Asplund makes it 3-2 Bruins now. Oh boy, they are just dicing up that save percentage. Come on, Murray. We need to... Okay, power play. This is everything we're looking for. Power play Bruins now. And it's a power play goal from Jaeger, the knockoff Jaromir Jagr. Power play again. We're not going to score 2 goals in the end here. Sorokin just closes it up. And 2 goals on 39 shots for us. 4 goals on 29 shots for them. Maybe stopping closer to now is a good idea. Do we need goaltending? Do we need defense? I don't know. Maybe waiting until the trade deadline is too late. Regardless, I'm going to take a moment to update the scouting, and then we'll check out the team stats and player stats. All right, scouting's all done. Now through 39 games, almost at the halfway point, we are 8th in the NHL, which is good. But again, keep in mind that the Pacific Division has a lot of teams in here. 22-14-3 is the record. We're letting in a lot more goals than we were previously. Power play at 21% is 4th best in the NHL, so the rest of the teams have come back down to earth a little bit while we've stayed around that same spot. Pounding kill at 77.7 seems to have gotten worse, I believe, and is 2nd worst in the NHL, despite us having some of our best players and best defensive players on those pounding kill lines. So +5 and +2. I guess I'll just forsake the chemistry and try something like this. So McKinnon, Trocheck, Earcheck, Bear on the first unit, Beniers, Tuck, Kozlov, Pulak on the second. Maybe taking off Kozlov and putting Miller there would be helpful, but I do want to keep Kozlov having a good amount of ice time since he's playing third pair minutes. Replacing Schwartz with Tuck and then just swapping up the deep pairs is pretty much all we can do there. So hopefully that changes a little bit from the 77.7%. We'll keep the rest of the lineup as is, and we'll sim a few more games. I won't take a look at the points here because I just want to get to the halfway point. I think we'll just stop at the halfway point, not even the deadline. So as you would have already known by seeing the title of this video. So we'll go to next week there against the Hurricanes for the game at the halfway point, game number 41. Game number 42. And it's an injured elbow for Ryan Suzuki. It'll keep him out for about a week or so. That's great. So Dylan Gambrell will get one last little chance to show himself off before we start making decisions here at the halfway point, because now it's too long. The next episode is where there's going to be decisions made on Gambrell, Suzuki, and Shillington. Flurry, at this moment, he has 4 points and a -5 in 22 games played. So a 4-3 overtime loss, then a 3-2 win. There you go. That was the halfway point. Suzuki now back to fully healed. They'll just keep it as is. So we win the 41st game 3-2 against the Flyers, and we'll pick up next episode against the Hurricanes, who are 18-18-1. We are now 23-14-1 at the halfway point. Good enough for third in the Pacific. 1 point behind the Sharks with a game in hand over them, but the Oilers are killing at 28-8-3. I know it's only like 2 or 3 games there, but just quick sample size. Did the penalty kill change at all? 77.3. Was it 77.7 or was it always 77.3? I don't know, but negligible if anything, maybe even worse. Let's check out the points now so we can start thinking about making decisions, because this, I don't know, we're looking okay, but we're not a 3-peat team at the moment. We're having some struggles here in the lineup. More because the first line's great here. McKinnon, 55 points in 41 games, of course, amazing. Marco, 47 and 41. And the other first liner, though, is struggling. 28 points in 41 games for Alex Tuch. On that second power play unit, nothing seems to be going. 2 power play points for him there, but the first power play unit has the 13, 12, and 13 points respectively. Tuch, 14 goals and 28 points in 41 games. Not really reflective of that first line, but maybe it's just the power play points. Because Marco, minus his power play points, has 35 even strength points in 41 games. Still 7 more than Tuch, but just something to keep in mind. Vinny Trocheck, 26 and 41. Schwartz, 25. Tarasenko, again, 9 goals, 22 points, on pace for an 18-goal season. I don't know what's up with the captain. I don't know what we're going to do with him. Moss has been okay. 13 goals and 21 points in 41 games, on pace for 26 goals in his rookie season. We'll keep him, I don't know, maybe swapping him back up to the second line. I don't know. The second line has been looking better since we got the +5 going. Dawson Mercer, 9 goals and 14 points on the fourth line with some power play time. Maybe swapping him up to the third unit. The third line would be better, because Popov has 13 points in 41 games. Only 1 less point. More of a playmaker, totally different playing styles, that's why. Ethan Bear, 13 points, +8. Roseyan, 12 points, -5. Pulak, 9 points, +6. Yurchek, 6 points and a -1. Suzuki in 18 games had 5 points and was a -5, while Gambrell in 23 games had 4 points and was a -5. Not making it easy for us. Shillington, 5 points, +8, and Kozlov, 4 points, +7. Flurry in 9 games, no points, and a -2. Peyton Wilm was doing well, and Matt Murray has fallen back to earth a little bit now, 9-5-1 with a .905 save percentage, 2.85 goals against. Kane Primo, 2-2-0 with an .862 save percentage, 3.75 goals against average. Maybe calling up Ben Bishop is a possibility. I don't know if a trade is in the cards, but we definitely will take a look at the trade blocks. We're doing our due diligence here. And just so you know as well, looking at the trade value here on Ryan Suzuki, has it dropped? No, it's still pretty much what it was. There, you know, it's a little bit of trade value. It's not bad. On the trade finder, you can get Grzelcyk and Dahan, Butcher in a 7th, Vakanainen in a 3rd, pretty much a 3rd plus a little bit. Here, 2/3 from the Hurricanes. If we sent him back to the team we got him from, 2/3 from the Avalanche. A few random prospects and a low pick, or you can get a couple of decent picks. That's if we were to just trade him without taking back anything specific in mind. But if we could package him up maybe with Flurry or whatever else we're doing, Gambrell, I don't know who's going, we could try and target somebody who is on a team's trade block. Preferably maybe a 4th-line centerman with a year left on his contract, I don't know. So Vinny Hinostroza with a crazy contract on the block. Zellweger has been a prospect that we've seen on the block for a while for the Ducks, but he hasn't really grown much, and he's now 23 years of age. On the Coyotes, you got Jake Chychrun, of course. We're going to be seeing a lot of these defensemen now. So do we make a bigger move where we move out a guy like K'Andre Miller or Ryan Pulak? That's the thing. Jake Chychrun, 5 years left on a reasonable deal, 87 overall, -6, 8 goals, 7 assists. Fits all defensive pairs and penalty kill lines according to Cristiano Morrissey's scheme. Has those X factors. Would not be a bad possibility here. What is he usually good for? Usually good for the 25 to 30-ish point range. Not the greatest plus-minus being on a bad team. I don't know, because we have a lot of good two-way D. I need defense to maybe drive the offense a little bit more. But again, if we're moving him, if we're taking in a big guy, yes, we're moving out of K'Andre Miller or whatever, But Counter Miller was always the plan that he'd probably be leaving in 2 or 3 years. If we're taking Chikrin on for 5 years, that means less room in 4 or 5 years for our other prospects. Connor Garland, Rickard Rakell, Yarncrow, Stenland, all also on the block. Boston, Grizzlick, Butcher, Mayfield. Again, a lot of defense on the open market here. Prospects on the Sabres, Calgary, Rasmus Anderson, 3 years left, 86 overall. Another interesting possibility. Does not fit the schemes, though. Dylan Dubé, 85 overall. Crazy contract for him. He's not doing well. Jacob Trouba has a lot of trade value. 12 goals on the year. Fits deep pairing 2. Larson, Severson, Coughlin, Lehkonen, Armia, Coleman down the line there. If you want to know more about any of these prospects, leave a comment, or sorry, these people on the trade block, leave a comment or let me know in the Discord server. I'll look more into them for you. Seth Jones, 4 years left at 9.6 on the Blackhawks, 87 overall, 9 points, -14. Yikes, does not fit any of the lines. Libor Hayek doesn't fit any of the lines either. Avalanche, more prospects. Columbus Blue Jackets, Werenski, like we saw, 2 years left at 9.5, 19 points, +7 on the year. Fits all penalty kill lines, playing a lot of minutes per night. Voracek on an expiring deal is out there. Fits forward line 2. Boone Jenner, Alex Wenberg, as we mentioned earlier on. I don't know, maybe Wenberg is a move now that he has, 19 points on the year, on pace. But again, he's on pace for a 40-ish point year, playing 10 minutes a night. I don't know. It's more the term that bothers me. Dallas, Claude Giroux with tons of trade value on the block. 20 points on the year for him. Blake, more prospects. Detroit Red Wings, Valimaki, 6 years left at $6 million. Juuso Valimaki fits the power play lines. Ryan Murray, 2 years left at 4.6. Fits all deep pairings and power play. Ryan Strome, Larson, Johansson, Gaudette, Dickinson, Letty, Aberg. A lot of people on the block around the NHL right now. Zach Hyman, 2 years left at 5.3, 88 overall. Wow, just fits only the fourth line. It has a ton of trade value, but that's crazy. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at an 83 overalls on the block. Third line center of the future now doesn't fit the scheme. Lawton, Kurashev, Tufte. Florida Panthers prospects. LA Kings, Elias Anderson, Alex Barré-Boulet. Minnesota Wild, Jack Roslovic, 2 years left at 5.7. Not the right fit. Joel Eriksson Ek, no. Arvidsson, 1 year left for him, 84 overall sniper, 5 goals on the season. Palmieri, Kachuk, Gergensen. Montreal Canadiens have Gallagher with an expiring deal on the block, 11 goals, 25 assists on the year. He would be an interesting player, Brendan Gallagher, that's for sure. Josh Anderson also on an expiring deal. Power forward who fits the fourth line. Marcus Foligno, Kasha, and some prospects. Nashville Predators prospects. Devils prospects pretty much. Prospects on the Islanders. Rangers, Mika Zibanejad had 4 years left at $8.5 million. 4 goals, 23 assists for the sniper. Okay. Doesn't fit any of the lines, though, but we'd have to scout him a little bit more to be certain of that. Ryan Lindgren was offered to us earlier in the year. He has 6 points and is a -9. He was great in the Columbus Blue Jackets franchise mode, a huge part, but I don't know if he's looking as good here. Philip Hronik, 2 years left at 4 point whatever, is a more offensively minded defenseman. Okay, this is taking a long time to go through these blocks. A lot of players on these blocks. Josh Manson, expiring deal on the Senators. 6 points, -6. Doesn't fit any of the schemes. Myers, Murphy, Lajoie. Flyers, nobody on their block. Penguins, Radulov, Mantha, Crosby. All these guys are still on their block, but a ton of value for Sidney Crosby on an expiring deal. Makes sense why. 18 goals, 20 assists on the year. Would fit the first line on the power play. The Penguins are 14, 16, and 9. Makes sense why they want to sell a little bit. I don't know. Is Sidney Crosby the move, though? A third-line centerman isn't really our issue. I don't think we can play Crosby on the fourth line. Anthony Mantha, is he also on an expiring deal? No, 3 years left for him, but expiring deal for Radulov. Again, not really the type of player we're looking for, but something to keep in mind. San Jose Sharks, Yanni Gourde, Jérémy Lauzon, of course, former Seattle Kraken, Jérémy Lauzon now at an 81 overall, getting NHL minutes. Happy to see that. Good defensive numbers as well. Erik Karlsson also on the block. Expiring deal for Erik Karlsson at $11.5 million. Fits deep pairing 2, offensive defenseman. I don't know. Do they need to free up some salary? Do they need to dump Erik Karlsson? He's on pace for 20, for like 40 points. I don't know. It wouldn't cost a lot. Actually, he has some trade value. Blues have Shen, Haula, Kuznetsov, Kadri, Krug, Dunn, all on the block. Krug down to an 81 overall. Hasn't played at all on the season. So wasn't he like an 86 when he was offered to us? Maybe getting him would be, I don't know, what's his trade? He has a lot of trade value for someone who hasn't played at all this season. I don't know. Who else? Have they not played D'Angelo either? D'Angelo's played. Has McNabb played? McNabb has played. Has Vince Dunn played? No. So Vince Dunn and Torrey Krug have not played this season. Kadri has been okay. Fits our third line, but he's 36. No. Man. Okay, so I don't know. Torrey Krug, expiring deal, offensively minded guy. Not too much trade value. His numbers should bounce back once he starts playing more with us. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Tampa Bay Lightning prospects, Maple Leafs prospects, Canucks, Ekman Larson expiring deal on the block. Fits deep pairing 2, offensively minded kind of guy. Like we said, he is listed as a two-way. It would be just a rental. He's on pace for 45 points or so there. 45, 46, maybe even 47 because he played 40 games, not 41. Stetcher, Walker, Pesci, those guys have some term to their deals. Vegas, Nolan Patrick, 3 years left at $8 million, 88 overall. Has a 34-point year, on pace for 68 then. -6. Doesn't fit any of the lines, though, unfortunately. Ivan Barbashev, 15 points on the year for him. Not much of a centerman. I'm trying to think about the future as well for third-line centerman if none of these guys in the system are doing great. Jordan Eberle, who we acquired at a deadline not too long ago, he fits the fourth line. He played with us for a little bit, 41 games in 2023-24, scoring 29 points. In the playoffs, last time he's been in the playoffs was with us, 11 points in 13 games. Keep that in mind. Galchenyuk also on the block there. Winnipeg Jets, man, everyone is on the block. Pierre-Luc Dubois, could he be our third-line center of the future? He's probably too good. Fits the fourth line. We'd have to scout him a bit more. 2 years left at 5.4. Not having a very good offensive season either. 21 points. That's kind of what he's good for in the simulation, though. Sam Bennett, 3 years left at 3.7. Nothing special there either. He does fit the third line. But that's only 2 bars. I have to scout him some more. We could, again, we don't need to make a deal now. We could do some scouting on some players, some more depth pieces here on Winnipeg, and that is it. So, also want to check out goalies matching the block if there are any good serviceable NHL goalies. So I'll just quickly highlight those. The first NHL caliber goaltender on the block is Thatcher Demko over on the Devils. Yeah, why would they sign Philip Gustafsson if Demko's going to be here for 5 more years at 6.1? But obviously, I don't think we really need a starting goaltender. While we're here, I'm just curious, what's up with Philip Gustafsson this season? Has he dropped back down to earth? No, still an 89 overall, and 904 save percentage, 2.95 goals against, with a record of 9, 15, and 3. Good old Philip Gustafsson. Lucas Dostal is on the block. Expiring deal, 84 overall. Legend in the Anaheim Ducks franchise mode back in NHL 20. He's 5-3-3 with solid numbers in the NHL. I could see Lucas Dostal coming over here. Former third-round pick of the Anaheim Ducks in 2018. Just scored that goalie goal in the real world. I could see Lucas Dostal happening. Yeah, I could see it. And that is it. So just 2 NHL caliber goalies on the block. 87 overall Thatcher Demko and 84 overall Lucas Dostal. So that could be very interesting. There's a few different possibilities for us moving forward. To end off the episode, do we want to revisit some contract extensions, the current demands of Isaiah Marco? Let's see here. He would want 3 years at 13.6. Crazy numbers. I might just wait and qualify him as an RFA and pay him closer to 9 or 10 million for a few years as opposed to having to settle for the crazy numbers that he wants right now. So I think we'll wait on Marco for the offseason probably. Jaden Schwartz, if he were to come back, which is unlikely, he would take a downgrade closer to the high 3s. Trocheck would want even more than he's making now. Hayden Flurry, currently making 2, would want 1. Cole Lind, who has yet to play this season, maybe we should bring him into the lineup. He would want 2 million. He hasn't played at all. Dylan Gambrell would want 900K, close to league minimum. Suzuki would be wanting into the 1.5s. Yeah, okay. And Peyton Wilm's demands, how are those looking like? 2 years, 8 million. So if we went back to that 5-year deal, he'd want even more than he wanted before. So maybe we do a 2-year deal instead and then just figure out what happens on his last year of RFA status a couple years down the road. Maybe. Or we just wait on both him and Marco, qualify them, and get them for a little cheaper once the off-season comes. Just something to keep in mind. Don't think we'll touch those too much. It's more the trades that I'm thinking about because this team's okay, like we said, but we're looking for a three-peat here. Last year, we're going to get out of Schwartz, Trocheck, maybe even Tarasenko at this point. We're 23-14-4 and 4-5-1 in our last 10. The first line's been okay, but maybe something has to change, whether it be with the forwards, the defense, the goaltending, or the special teams. I don't know if we can keep rolling like this. unless something really turns around. So that's why we'll take a pause right here at the halfway point of year number 6, my friends, January the 12th, 2027. Looking forward to reading all your thoughts down here in the YouTube comments or over on the Discord server, link in the description. If you enjoyed this first half of the season, be sure to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe, as we're putting out, of course, NHL 22 franchise mode, FIFA 22 career mode, and the new series, which of course the episodes can't come every day because they take a long time to research, but the redrafts of the top 10 of a certain draft class of players in a certain draft year. If you didn't already see that last one on the top 10 forwards of the 2009 draft, it'll be in the end cards right here. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Looking forward to what the assistant GMs have to say as we're looking to go for a three-peat here in Seattle. There may be some difficult moves to make, but that's why they pay us the big bucks. Even if it breaks some hearts, we got to do what's best for the organization, and that's what I look forward to doing in the next one, so I will see you there.